off this season. And we're so excited about this year that's ahead. But I just wanted to first start off and just say thank you. I want to say thank you for your support, right? For your encouragement, right? For who you are and what we get to represent. Because I have the best job in the world. Because I get to represent you. I get to represent this university. I get to represent this incredible program. All the traditions. All the history. The great coaches. We have a couple sitting up here today. The wonderful players. We have a couple here in the audience. The players that were in this room earlier. I get to represent all of those things in my position. And I'm so grateful for not only what I get to represent, but who and for who and what we stand for as a program. And I'm so honored to be able to come and to kick off this year, speaking to you and to have a record crowd, all the excitement, all the energy. You feel it in Tallahassee. You feel it across this country. And you feel it a part of our football team. Because the players that I get to coach, man, they are a special, special group. A special group of unique young men, all from a different background, all from a bit different journey. But they all came here for a common cause and a common purpose. Some of them have been here throughout our complete journey over these last few years, and oh, what a journey it's been. Right? The highs, the lows, the great moments, and the moments of disappointment. But every one of those steps were absolutely critical for us to continue to grow, to put ourselves in a position to take that next step. First year I came and I talked to you about our Noel family values. What we wanted our program to look like, the foundation of what we were building. We talked about service. We talked about sacrifice. And we talked about respect, as many as you guys remember. Last year we came back and we talked about the climb. What that was. What we were aspiring to be, how we were going to continue to do this. We talked about that commitment to those values. We talked about the little things that set us apart. We talked about the intensity that we had to bring every single day on our mission to where we were going. We talked about the mental toughness, right? And how we respond to all situations. And then we talked about the brotherhood, right? Of who you get to do it with and what we get to represent. And just so you know, as we jump into this season, it's time to keep climbing. Right? We've had a lot of this stuff. Thank you. We've had a lot of positive growth. Right? But just like I talk to our players every single day, right? We've got to keep our eyes where they need to be. And it's on the next step that's in front of us. So I'm gonna use you as a crowd to get a little bit of involvement tonight. Right? I need to hear you and I need to feel you. So as we go into this year, I've been asked the question so much, well, Coach, now there's expectations for your program. So, we're at Florida State. Let me tell you, there's been expectations today. I set foot on this campus, and there's never been expectations on the outside that are greater than the expectations that we've had on the inside.
That's right.
And as we've had to go through this journey, right, man, we've had to overcome some challenging moments. But we've had a football team that's believed in where we could go. We've had a football team that believes in who we get to do it with. And like I said earlier, we have a football team that believes in what they represent. But now as the outside, and the country gets a chance to see this team, I'm excited that they see the value, they see the excitement, they see the potential of this program and what we're getting back to. But once again, there's no expectations that are higher than what we have within it. And as I tell our players all the time, this journey that we've been, we've learned some lessons. We've had to face adversity, we've had some success, right? into this season, it's about the consistency that's necessary. Right, you look back this last year, and starting the season, 4-0. Big win early in the season down in the Superdome. Right, going on the road, facing adversity, a conference opponent, losing their starting quarterback in the middle of the game, having to come back and win. Right, saw some really good things early in the season. Then we hit a rough spot. Dropped 3 straight games to ranked opponents at the time. Every game there was a different element or a different situation that cost us. But we had a team that believed in what we could do. We had a team that continued to build, that continued to fight, that continued to invest, to work, to go get better. And we had a football team that responded by winning their last 6 games. We had a football team that finished up. We had a football team that finished up with our 25th 10-win season. Right? We had a team that not only after the year, the response that they had, but when the choice came for many of them on what they were going to do with their next step, they chose to hold off, maybe going to the National Football League. They held off, that instant gratification, because they weren't done with what we were doing in this program. We've been able to attract some incredible student athletes from the high school ranks, some incredible transfers that have come in to be a part of this. Hugh talked about the returning production. We have the most returning production of any school in the country. But we've also been able to bring in guys that are helping elevate and push that standard of how we want to operate in everything that we're doing. And with all those things that have been behind us, we can't get distracted by spending all of our time looking back. Because once again, our eyes got to be on the most important thing that we have. It's a step in front of us. And so how I start our days around our program, I talk about where we need to keep our eyes. Because ultimately, if you spend the entire, we talk about this climb to where we're going. And you guys remember from last year, where are we trying to get to? To the top. We're trying to get to the top. Right? That's where this program belongs. That's what this program stands for. But there's only one way that you can get to the top of a mountain. And what do you got to do? You got to climb. And so just as I tell our players each and every day, man, if you're climbing to the top of the mountain and your eyes are always looking back, probably going to slip. On the flip side of it, now, the outside and the distractions and everybody talking about what's out there for the finale. If you're climbing a mountain and all you're doing, right, is staring at the top, you might miss the important step that's right there in front of you. So I always talk to our players, man, you keep your eyes up, looking at the next important thing, and that's that next step, because the climb continues. And that's the journey, and that's the mission that's ahead. And so when I tell our players, eyes up, there is the response. And so I told you that tonight I need a little bit of interaction. We turned up the heat for you. But I need to see what you got inside right here. Eyes up! Keep fighting! We will end this meeting right now if that's all you got. This is a record crowd. Am I right? A record crowd? More than has ever been here. And we didn't even make this table shake at all. Is that what you're going to sound like in Orlando? No. So what are you saving it for? Right? Tell me what day is okay to be average. No. Tell me what day it's okay not to be your best. Never. So I'm going to give you another chance on this one. So you better clear it out. Take a deep breath. Because Coach Andrews will start up down, and if we don't get nothing more than that, eyes up! Keep fighting! Eyes up! Keep fighting! Eyes up! Keep fighting! Because that's the mission that we're on. But that's what I'm so excited about with this team. You know, we're 15 practices in. You know, we've had an incredible offseason. From the winter program to spring practice, the summer workouts, man, everything that we've done has been focused on our objective. Because there is only one objective when it comes to our program. For every player that comes in, I tell them the very first day that they get there, there is an objective that we have to live up to every day here at Florida State. And that objective is to get better. Every day we have to improve. And we have to do it to our standard. And that's the standard of excellence. Amen. And that standard of excellence is defined to our players by our best. So in everything that we do, we have to have a daily focus of improving our best. Yeah. So as I just said to you, there is no day that is okay to be average. There's no day that it's okay, right, to stay the same. Because we have one focus, right? And that's to be the best that we can possibly be. To give all that we have in the moment. There might be a play, there might be a quarter, there might be a situation that shows up where we get knocked down. But we get our butt back up and we continue to push to get better throughout this journey. And that's the approach our guys have taken. You know, those guys that came back, you know, they had opportunities. I mean, guys had first-round grades. Guys had opportunities to go get drafted. And I remember sitting down with them in December and January. And, you know, it's kind of funny because some of them, they were trying to see if it was a negotiation. So, Coach, if I come back, those mat drills, are those still And I said, I promise you one thing. You decide to come back, this is going to be the hardest offseason that you've ever seen in your life. This is going to be the most challenging fall camp that you've ever seen. Every day I'm going to push you beyond what you even think that you could do. Because it's my job to help show them what they can do. It's my job to help show them where they can go. Because ultimately, as we go through this journey, we get one shot at it. And I'm so very excited about this team, this group, these coaches I get to do it with. And this incredible fan base. We get one shot to live out 2023 football season. And we got to live up to that objective. We've got to get better. And we've got to get better being our best. And if we get that on a daily basis, man, I have no doubt there's no limits to what this team can do and no limits to what this team can accomplish. Because I know who I coach. And the thing I'm so proud of is I've watched a team that has truly embraced the work. And everybody talks about it. Right? But it's one thing to talk about work, it's another thing to go live it. And for us, and as many of you know, it's not just about one aspect of their life. And how you do anything will be how you do everything. And that standard of being their best, that is the challenge for our guys. Right? For what they're doing in the meeting room, to what they're doing in the classroom, to what they're doing socially, to what they're doing on the practice field, in the weight room, in every aspect of their life. Trying to push to be their best and continue to improve in that journey. And you've seen a team that has absolutely embraced that. From, you know, last fall, you know, you got to see it happen. Yes, the 10 wins were great. Finished up top 10 in the country. That was wonderful. You also had a team that did it while having the best team GPA ever in program history. They were a 2.9, I think it was a 2.92 team GPA last fall, which is remarkable during the season. But the thing I was really proud of is when they came back in the spring. Well, let me ask you, what I say our objective is to do every single day? Yeah. Get better, being your best. Well, this spring they only came back and they got better. It was the first time ever in program history that we had a team cumulative GPA of a 3.02. Because as I remember when I was in college, I really didn't like school very much. Now I'm sure all of you did, right? But when you're willing to push to be your best in something that you don't always like, right? How much easier will it be to push to be your best in what you love? Now we have a football team that loves being a part of this university. And those guys that came back, those guys that have come in, Right? I mean, you sit there and you look at the opportunity that's there. I mean, guys would not have come back if they didn't love who they get to do it with. If they didn't believe in the development and the growth that they would continue to see. And if this university didn't absolutely matter to them. And the guys that have joined our program, yes, we have some great transfers that have come in. We have some incredible high school players. I mean, you're going to get to see a lot of young true freshmen that have already, in the last few weeks of the summer, that are going to put themselves in a position to help us win games this fall. We've got a great group. But what I love is everybody that's joined this program and everybody that has been within this program, and they all had to say yes. And as we go through our process, man, it is always about finding the right fit for Florida State. I tell people all the time, Florida State is not for everybody. It's for the real ones. Because everybody... Because every program in the country right now is talking about winning a championship. They all are. Just like every player's talking about going to the NFL one day, everybody talks about wanting to be successful. But when the work shows up, when the challenges are there, when it doesn't look good and it doesn't feel good, that's when your identity gets put on display. And as I've watched this football team embrace the work, as we took them over to Jacksonville a few weeks ago and, I was praying hard. I wanted humidity, I wanted sun, I wanted no wind, and the good Lord answered my prayers. And I watched them hit. And I watched them fight. I watched them get knocked down. I watched them pick each other up. I watched a team that, knowing the challenges that were ahead, they ran right into it. They attacked it. Yeah. And for the last 15 days, I've seen them every day bring that mentality, bring that mindset. But I see a team that's doing it together. And as I tell our team all the time, hard work does not guarantee success. There's plenty of people that work hard, right, that don't always achieve success. But it dang sure puts you in the best position to be able to go get it. And as you go through the journey, you're willing to make that investment. It's about being consistent, right, in how you do it as well. And as for our team, that's one of the biggest focuses as we jump into this season, to take the lessons that have been learned, to build off of the positives that we've had, and to go apply it while being our best on a daily basis in every aspect of our game. You look back a year ago, there's only 3 teams in all of college football that had a top 10 offense and a top 15 defense. Florida State, Alabama, and Georgia. Returning, right, that is embracing a new standard of being their best. And as I go out there and I watch them in the fall practice, we see a bigger team, a faster team, right, and a closer team in how they prepare and what they do. And I'm so excited to hear in the next, 11 to 12 days to get an opportunity to take that field with this team. Not only because of the skill set and the jersey numbers that they're going to wear, but what they have in here. This is a team that has built up an identity. We talk about that no way of how we want to play, what we want it to look like. Right? The first thing is we want a team that plays smart. And this team has invested. They've studied. Right? They have the game experience. They understand the situations that allows them to then play fast. Right? And Coach Storms and our strength and conditioning staff, man, they've done a remarkable job. We go through and everything that we do is tracked with our GPS and obviously seeing the workloads, and we have blown the numbers out of the water for what we've done, right, in years past. Because of the training, because of the investment, because of what these guys are doing, not only nutritionally, but hydrationally, what they're doing with the athletic training, every part of their body, it's the willingness to push, right, to be their best, which will allow them to play fast, which also allows them to be physical. Coach Andrews and I talk every time he comes out to practice. That's what we talk about. Because physicality is not something that happens because you talk about it. Physicality is something that has to be developed on a daily basis. Right? We talk about that mental toughness, well, it also has to show up in that physical toughness. Right? And we have a team that has embraced that, right? Because of who they are and how they train. And then lastly, we want a team that finishes everything. As we jumped into this year, we talk about a legacy. Because each year, you get one opportunity to leave a legacy. And as I talk to our team, a legacy, that's a gift that you get to leave. You get to leave for others because of the action that you have. You're not going to ever leave a legacy because of a speech that you give. You're never going to leave a legacy, right, because of the words that you say. You're going to leave a legacy but based off the actions and the example that you are on a daily basis, right, for those that are around you. And it's about embracing that. It's about embracing that opportunity and that challenge. And that's what's in front of this team. Because as you look back at the 2022 team, one of the gifts that they left, and they showed how to respond. So we came out of the month of October, and there was a lot of pissed off people in our program. Right? I was leading the charge. You saw a team that made a decision. They made a decision to continue to focus on those little things, to continue to improve, to continue to come closer together. And they won the last 6 games. You saw a team that cared about each other. I think about moments to a year ago, those defining moments of a legacy that's left. I remember the bowl game. I remember the last drive. I remember when Big Jazz got rolled up and was laying on the ground. And I saw brotherhood that was put on display. I saw a team that showed their care for somebody that had only been there for 6 months. But that was family. And continuing to build upon those relationships, continuing to build upon the opportunity and the understanding of who and what you represent, man, it gives you such an incredible foundation for where we're going. And as we talk about this team, and we're going to get our first opportunity here September 3rd in Orlando. Right, only game on national television. Right, 2 top 10 opponents. The stage that you're built for. Yeah. That's where Florida State and our program needs to be. And they can play us in a position, right, to come into this year with expectations from everybody on the outside. But once again, there's nobody in the world that has bigger expectations than what we have on the inside. And it comes down to how we work. It comes down to how we do all things. Continuing to improve. Right? Being better than our best. And as we go into the season, I can tell you that the climb continues. Right? We're just getting started to where we're going. Now, we have an incredible team it's the best depth that we've had, the best competition, right? Every day is an absolute battle, offense, defense, special teams. And you're finding a team that when the moments are big, when the challenges are grand, they nod their heads and they continue to go attack. Right? This year, we get to put our identity on display. And I'm so excited about the journey that's ahead. I'm excited about the great success that we're gonna find. I'm also excited about the challenging moments to where we get to put on display the identity of this football team. And we get to leave our legacy for how it's gonna be remembered, but also for what it represents. And I'm so grateful for each and every one of you for supporting our program. And this is a special place. I tell people all the time, and we have an incredible stadium. We got an incredible logo, and we've got a wonderful tradition. But it's the people that make the place. It's the people that make the place. To all those that have come before, and to all those that will be coming ahead, man, we represent something special here at Florida State. And there is a standard in how we operate. Yeah. And there is a standard for what we must do. And I can tell you, we're just now getting started to where we're going. And this season is going to be an incredible year. And I better hear you, and I better feel you throughout this journey. Eyes up! Keep quiet! Keep quiet! Keep quiet! And the climb starts September 3rd. And I look forward to seeing all of you.